So I just got done watching Invincible Season 3, and here are my thoughts and feelings on the season. So I wanted to start off saying I'm a big fan of Cecil and Mark's relationship in the beginning of the season. It reminded me a lot of Nick Fury's and Tony Stark's relationship in the early MCU. I also very much enjoyed that this season we dip into Cecil's background and his history, and we get to learn a little bit more about his character because his character is shrouded in a lot of mystery. I will say the animation was a little bit lackluster for me for the first 3 episodes. It just didn't compare to what we saw in season 1. Granted, though, when you move forward into season 3, it gets a lot better. I'm not going to dip into any spoilers right now, but especially on a couple of fight scenes, you see where that budget went to. An amazing thing this show does, and it's probably because it has great source material to pull from, is the character development. Every single character in this show develops in an appropriate manner. And if you look at them from what we saw in season 1 to season 3, so much has happened and changed. And that all makes sense because so much has happened and changed in the world around them. So it makes sense for these characters to develop differently as the series goes on. One character specifically who just has grown so much from season 1 is Rex. I'm a big fan of his character. I mean, obviously he's a play on Gambit, and I'm just excited to kind of see what he does further in this series, but very good character. And I will say, after season 2, the show was starting to lose me. I wasn't as excited for season 3 as I should have been, but this season really pulled me back into it, and I'm really looking forward to season 4. Overall, I want to say this show is an amazing adaptation of the comic, and even with the creator of the comic working hand in hand with the creators of this show, it's great to see new things introduced. And he's even said this is kind of his take 2 of Invincible for him, which is super exciting because I think we're going to be able to get into stories that we didn't get into the comics because we have this new platform. And before we dip into spoilers, I'm going to give my official rating of season 3 of Invincible, and that's going to be a 9.5 out of 10. Again, such an amazing addition to this show. Super excited to see what they go forth in this series. And hopefully we don't have to wait too long. So to dip into spoilers, yeah, Rex is dead, dude. Homie's gone. Dude kind of went out like a badass. I will say it felt a little abrupt though. And I don't know if it's just because so much was happening in that episode, and I'm just going to call that episode the Invincible War. But I was like, dude, there's no way that was his death. I had gotten a little bit of spoilers before I watched the finale, and I thought it was a fake out. I was like, okay, no, he's going to we're going to think he's dead. He's going to come back and then he's going to die again, kind of putting the final nail in the coffin. But no, just boom, explodes. Just crazy. I mean, still a really good way for his character to go out, but I'm really hoping he comes back. To kind of go back to the beginning of the season, it's when Mark reveals to Eve about her future self, pretty much saying yo, homie, shoot your shot. And the fact that Eve's reaction, which understandable, I was like, dude, don't do this. Do not give us another season where they're playing cat and mouse. And thankfully, it's literally disputed that episode. But it just would have been so frustrating if we had to go through another season of them being like, yo, let's get together. No? All right, sick. I'm a big fan of everything Alan the Alien. I mean, how they've done his episodes in the past and how they continue to do it, and how it's a great way to have the behind the scenes, Viltrumite war development be told to you. I mean, it's just great how he's the main source of getting Omni-Man back into the fight. And the fact that it's voiced by Seth Rogen makes it even better. And I am happy we didn't see too much of Omni-Man. I think slowly reintroducing him into the series is going to be the best thing for the character. And it did feel like this season shifted a lot of characters on this board. And I believe season 4 is going to be packed with just crazy stuff that's going on. I mean, you have Levy in the background kind of planning his revenge after what happened in episode 8. You have Ironmouth, who's also in the picture. You have Omni-Man. You have the Viltrumites. I'm like, you have Battle Beast. I'm like, there were so many characters on this board and then you have the things that take over people's minds that were in the sewer. I'm just like, there's so many things moving in the background. Season 4 is going to be stacked. And speaking of episode 7, dude, that could have been the finale. That could have been the end of the season for me. You have Anstrom Levy bringing all these Invincibles and just destroying the world, killing more people than that were killed in the Omni-Man fight. It's in the hundreds of thousands. I was like, is this real? Is this a fever dream? There were so many big characters or side characters that were introduced that were just killed like nothing. And I didn't know what was going on. And it was so cool to see these variants of Mark and their dynamic and how really this universe is one of the few universes where Mark didn't go bad. I mean, and it is shown that like these Marks they're not totally bad. I feel like, again, they just made bad decisions because there's that one who's just doing all of this to get his mom back. So I feel like it just shows how Mark is a good person, but it doesn't take much to send him to the dark side. But you have this crazy apocalyptic event happen in episode 7. And then it does abruptly get resolved. Like Anstrom just kind of sends all the Invincibles to that, no man's land. So that was a little bit abrupt, and his story ends a little bit abrupt. But then they just say, hey, yo, introduction, Conquest is here. And Conquest just comes into episode 7 like, yo, bro, what's good? Viltrumites, remember them? Yeah, we're here. Are you doing what you're told? And it was a great setup for Mark to just let go because he's already upset. He's already feeling all these emotions. So now he knows he can just beat the shit out of someone. And when I talked about the animation being a letdown, this episode 8, it makes up for all of that. By far, some of the best animation I've seen on TV in a long time. I mean, the first part of the fight, obviously, Conquest isn't going in on him, but the moment Conquest flips the switch and starts beating the shit out of Mark, and then you have his little bro trying to catch up to the fight, and he's just like, dude, you just see Mark getting thrown around. It was absolutely insane. And then you had the iconic scene of Oliver being like, get ready for a beatdown, and just getting smacked by Conquest. It's a great comedic timing, I will say. And Conquest's dialogue is just banger after banger. Like, the writers and the original source material absolutely cooked. You have Conquest telling Mark how he's just not liked and how his people fear him. And homie's just like, take it to the grave. Then you got Adam Eve getting absolutely demolished. And dude, I was like, no shot. Is Mark just going to be like Spider-Man, like with Gwen Stacy, just taking L after L? But thankfully, she revives herself. And if that didn't happen, Mark would have lost the fight. But it's nice to see her true potential, especially after the show that she had previously on Amazon. And in the beginning of the season, you have Oliver kind of fighting Mark and being like, yo, Dad was right. Some people deserve to die. And Mark's fighting him and being like, no, everybody deserves a chance. Like, you have to do this the right way. But then after everything Mark goes through in the season, he ends the season being like, if anyone comes after our family, I will not hesitate to take them out. And I think that's a natural progression of where the character is right now. I do think we're going to get that hopeful Mark back because we need that, right? We need that superhero in our lives. And his dad might play a part in bringing him back. But for now, homie's not playing around. But overall, you guys, such a great season. What are your thoughts and your opinions on this season and some of the things you think they're going to dip to in season 4? I know that we're going to be having an episode where Mark goes into hell, which that's going to be crazy. So I'm super excited to see where that goes. But yeah, what would you rate this season? Leave in the comments down below. And guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like. And also, I'll be doing reviews all the time of movies, of shows, and of games. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of that content. But thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Ben James, also known as BJ. And I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.